Bring in our panel, blogger, host of the Young Turks, Cenk Uygur. Cenk, I always have a hard time with your last name. One of these times I'll get it right. And Republican strategist Alex Conant. What strikes me more than anything, Cenk, is the government failure once again to connect the dots, and the fact that the cops appear to be working for the crooks, with Toyota hiring people from the National Highway Safety Transportation Board. Of course, companies, it's not a surprise when a company tries to cover up a problem with a product so they can keep making money. It's just always a little stunning when taxpayers pay those who monitor them, whether it's the bank regulators, the FDA, or in this case the highway regulators, and it turns out they're more interested in working for the corporation than they are the people that pay them.
Absolutely. They had 2,600 complaints about Toyota between 2000 and 2010. They hardly did anything about it. In fact, when they were discussing some of these complaints, they laughed and rolled their eyes and giggled about these problems. Why? Because the corporations are in charge, and they don't really want to investigate any of this stuff. When Toyota did their own report, they didn't even look at any of the cars that had sudden acceleration problems. It's a joke. Let me give you a quick analogy. It's like allowing the casinos in Vegas to hire NBA refs after their career is over.
And let me give you, here's another analogy. It's like the banks in America. It's like the healthcare system in America. I go down the list. It's like that's why we're all sitting, that's why we can sit here and have such an obvious conversation. Alex, one of the big rebuttals, people say, well, listen, there's a lot of jobs at stake here for a Toyota. There's a lot of jobs at stake here for the health insurance companies. There's a lot of jobs at stake here for the banks. Is it appropriate that we defend jobs even if the jobs are selling faulty cars and stealing money?
Well,
you can see where I'm headed.
Well, no, obviously not. Look, I mean, it's a very unfortunate situation, both for Toyota's many American employees, and for people who have purchased Toyota cars. My own mom drives a Toyota car, so obviously it's a very unfortunate situation. The government needs to do more to make sure that everyone is safe. On the other hand, let's keep in mind that the government has a vested interest in how this turns out, since the government is now the major stakeholder in General Motors. So on the one hand, it's supposed to be an objective regulator, and on the other hand, it has a very vested interest in how this turns out. I think
hang on a second, Alex. Are you suggesting that? I mean, listen, I guess we've seen everything at this point, so I shouldn't be so flabbergasted. But are you suggesting that the government might try to torpedo Toyota to try to help its long position in General Motors?
No, but I do think that this is part of why the government should stay out of investing directly into the private sector, as it has with General Motors.
Yeah, I mean, well, listen, but the government should also stay out of the business of giving away free money it doesn't have to create gigantic asset bubbles so that politicians can put people in houses that they shouldn't otherwise be in, and allow bankers to pay themselves bonus they shouldn't otherwise pay themselves, so that they then have to bail out the banks and auto companies. But that's a problem for the past 50 years. Yeah, I may have solved all of these problems, however, by the way. I think I've solved everything. Are you ready? Or actually, I haven't done anything, but somebody else has. Tomorrow, a Silicon Valley startup, and one with a tremendous pedigree. Those who know Kleiner Perkins and other venture capital firms like that will be happy to know they're involved with this. They're going to announce what will either be the answer to all of our energy problems. Think of it like energy in a suitcase. You can just take it, buy it, take it home. Think about what that does: foreign oil, terrorism. Go down the list. Or this is going to be a huge disappointment, and we'll just all move on with our lives. But in 20 hours, Bloom Energy will unveil the so-called Bloom Box. Not a boom box, the Bloom Box. It uses, theoretically, oxygen and some sort of natural gas fuel, whether it's methane gas, natural gas out of the ground. You could use your garbage in theory. Think Back to the Future, fueling the DeLorean. On the spot, you just put it in, no connection to any power grid, nothing. It's a self-sustaining energy box. Corporations, it's costing $800,000 a pop. In development right now, the company hopes individuals will be able to buy units for home use, as I said, for as little as $3,000. Energy in a suitcase, Cenk, there's no way that can't solve all our problems.
Well, I sure hope it does. But here, you know, as far as the science, I'm not a scientist, and I don't know if it'll work or not. But, you know, if it does, it's a great example of the American free market system working well with American government. Because the guy who invented this used to work for NASA, and he had a lot of expertise that he built up there. And then there was government incentives for people to buy this. So Google bought it, eBay bought it, etc., and it turned out that it worked. So, you know, it's great innovation on his part. combined with some government programs that wound up helping. That's the way America should work.
I actually completely agree with that. I mean, the government should be investing and encouraging research development to address things like climate change rather than the cap and trade and more regulation that they're talking about in Congress right now. And in terms of NASA, of course, the president cut NASA funding.
We'll save that for another. But free energy, I mean, if free energy doesn't change the future of this country and this world, I'm not sure what, well, not that it's free, but what will. Gentlemen, thanks for the conversation. Still ahead and busted. We've had it.